So I'm David Henke, the Chief Information Officer for the City of Milwaukee. I've been in this role for a little over a year, but I've been with the City of Milwaukee since 2007, designing and supporting the network infrastructure in one form or another. So the City of Milwaukee is the largest city in the state of Wisconsin, with approximately 600,000 residents across 95 square miles. And so as noted on the slide, we have about 7,000 staff within the city, across many different agencies, public safety, libraries, public works, health centers, with over 100 separate buildings for all of these various agencies. So with all of that, we have 3 full-time staff to support the city's network for all of those agencies. And as you can imagine, they have a lot on their plate. Next slide. So we have our own backbone fiber that the Department of Public Works installs. We're like our own little utility, and then the IT group engineers and manages that. So we have diverse connections to the internet at several different buildings from different carriers, and then distribute that across the fabric, utilizing the fabric networking across the city. So that uses over 500 switches, extending to those 100 buildings, and we're recently working on getting that extended into traffic cabinets so that we can have visibility into those. There's about 700 traffic cabinets around the city, and so we're excited to, historically, if there was an outage or something, it would have to be physically reported or identified either by a city employee or a citizen, having that automation and that knowledge in real time. So we have multiple surveillance networks. And with those, for video cameras, regards to public safety, our own building security, and the network team doesn't really get involved in much of those. It's really cameras are connected to the network by those organizations, and it just works, which makes it really simple on us. And as noted, we deployed this in 2011 and have continued to grow and enhance that network. Didn't quite realize we were the first ones at the time, but glad that we were early adopters and on board. Next slide. So at that time, back in 2011, we had a traditional IP network with spanning tree, and with that large number of buildings, any outage or network convergence could sometimes take up to 90 seconds to reconverge if there was a broken link somewhere in the network. We also had a separate SONET-based infrastructure, optical network and rings that's circuit-based rather than packet-based. And the idea was we wanted to move forward with a packet-based network, but still get the resiliency of that SONET-based network with the 50 millisecond restoration times. And that's what we're looking at with the fabric attach. So, and it's helped with that with the fabric network to reduce the provisioning timelines and the chance for error. It's been very resilient. Just last week, we had a scheduled maintenance to increase our fiber capacity on our backbone on one of our spans. So we were able to just plan that. Our ring was open for several hours while the maintenance was done, but there was no impacts to operations when the fiber was cut, nor when it was restored. It was basically a transparent effort. A couple of weeks before that, about 3 weeks ago, we had a unexpected fiber cut. And again, even though it wasn't anticipated, it's because we have resiliency in that fabric attached, the packets traffic moved to alternate links, and it was very seamless. There were 1 or 2 non-fabric devices that we had to restore on an emergency basis, but otherwise no one really noticed anything. So it's nice to be able to bring all these things turned up quickly on a normal basis. And then as we continue to grow the network, we've been able to maintain our staffing levels and still be able to support the increased number of sites and switches. Next slide. Yep. So more recently, we've been extending the fabric network quickly to support things like our COVID test site in the last year, obviously impacting everyone. And so we've had test sites that we've had to turn up quickly. We've been able to do that, including a isolation unit for the homeless, where In this case, it was off net, so we were able to deploy the latest XA 1400, I believe, is the product line that lets you, where we don't have our own fiber, we can still tunnel securely with through that fabric through the internet, across the internet. We had the presidential elections last year, and part of that was Milwaukee hosting the Democratic National Convention in June. That was well planned before COVID, and was we were doing a lot of planning for that and how to get those resources done. And then that changed completely, but we still were able to utilize our network, extend that with all of the changes from the convention and the critical requirements and short planning windows, and leverage that to support what turned out to be a much smaller convention. And then now the site, that same convention hall, is being used as our COVID vaccination site, primary vaccination site. We've been able to interoperate with their systems and coordinate and change things quickly. The convention itself focused a lot on cameras for public safety. We're able to work and turn those up. And now that was a much less significant event, we're working on redeploying those cameras elsewhere to where they'll be for better use on a permanent basis. And again, we can just work with that flow and are able to move things around pretty quickly and efficiently. Upcoming right now, we're working on a 911 upgrade where our public safety organizations for police and fire have separate operations. We're combining those and utilizing the fabric attached to support that and support some of the upcoming features for next gen 911, where you can submit via cell phone, get records locations, submit pictures, videos, and live updates through your cell phone, and we'll be utilizing that fabric infrastructure to support that. Next slide. Yep. So looking forward, like I said, we've been able to extend off net with some of the latest technologies. Now that we've expanded it throughout our fiber environment, we've been able to expand it off site for sites such as the nursery. We have a municipal nursery that's outside the city limits, where, because the city is an urban environment, a nursery environment is outside of the city limits and offside our network. But we're able to bring that on net, which we haven't been able to in the past with some of the latest XA 1400 product line. We're excited about that.